Well, mono means one, and this little iFootage Cobra 2 monopod, yeah, this one's the one. Today I want to talk about monopods, and more importantly, if you're a content creator, why I think a monopod is one of those tools that you're not going to need in every situation, but you need to make sure you have at least one good monopod in your kit, because it's one of those things that you're going to find yourself needing time and time again in certain situations, and you want to have a good monopod with you. It's just one of those things that you need it, you're going to have to get it. And this is what makes this iFootage Cobra 2 C-180 4-section carbon fiber monopod such an incredible investment. This is pretty much the only monopod you'll probably ever need. I mean, this thing is absolutely incredible, and I want to talk about why this is something that could really help you if you are a content creator. Now, full disclosure, iFootage did send me these Cobra 2 to review. However, I am not being paid for this in any way, shape, or form, and they cannot review anything that I say. They just wanted me to give an honest review of it. I've gotten a chance now to use this out in the field for a couple weeks. I took it on a trip, and I am blown away by this thing. It is by far the most incredible monopod I've ever come across, and I'm actually really excited to share what this monopod is. Now, before I get into what this monopod is, I do want to talk about why you might need a monopod if you are a video content creator, because it's one of those things that you may say, man, my camera stabilization is so good, why would I ever need a monopod? And there are certain times that you still find yourself needing a monopod. I literally just got back from Montana where I had to use this on a professional commercial shoot. And the first thing really comes down to this. There are times when you just need a certain level of professionalism where shaky handheld footage is not going to cut it. You need the stability that can come from a tripod or the flexibility that comes from a monopod. And this gives you that ability to move quick and fast, but still get nice, steady shots. Another place you're going to find yourself in is that sometimes you will need to get stability in your shots, and you'll have certain venue restrictions. Concert venues, a lot of historical places are not going to allow you to take a tripod into these venues. This is where a monopod is great. You can take a monopod in and they'll let you get away with it. The other thing is size. A great thing about a monopod is it lets you get stable shots in places that might be too cumbersome or impossible to get a tripod into. You may be in a space that's got too much stuff around you where you can't get the tripod legs all in there. This lets you go in there. It has one point of contact. You can set up very, very fast and be very good. And speaking of fast, another great thing about a monopod is speed. So when you've got to go fast and you need stable shots, a monopod is something that I tend to use more than a tripod. And really the last area where I really love monopods is if you are a shooter that travels a lot, monopods are fantastic. They break down super small, they go in a suitcase, and you can literally take them with you on a trip and you know you can have it with you. Now, all that being said, let's be honest, you really only ever need one monopod. It's not something you're gonna need like 10 monopods. And this is where I recommend if you're going to buy a monopod, make sure you get the best monopod you could, because this is literally something you're going to keep for most of your career. It's probably going to outlast most of your cameras, and it needs to be good. And this is where, in my opinion, this Cobra 2 is awesome. I have never come across a monopod that's got as many great features built into it. Now, let's look at the top features. The first thing you got to look at is the build of this thing. This one is the carbon fiber Cobra 2, and it is extremely well constructed and sturdy. I mean, you can feel it. It's got a good weight to it, but it's light. And so you can really find that this thing can take some beating. And I know just from having gone out on a trip to Montana and shooting with this thing for a week, that this thing took a lot of abuse, and man, it still looks great. And more importantly, I never doubted this thing would hold up when I was in the shield. Now, the other thing that I love about this is the base of the monopod. You can see here, it has a base. And you can look here, it's very, very flexible. You have these quick release things here that you can pop it up, and you can have just a flat ball head base that you would expect on most monopods. But what's great was a push a button, you can come out and get this much sturdier tripod type base, which really gives you a nice 3 points of contact. And if you need a little bit more height, you can actually pop it down and get it to an even higher point. These things, when you put them in, they lock into position. It's very, very quick, very, very fast, and you can pop them out super easy. The other great thing about this base is it's actually got a ball head in it, which means I can take my monopod and get movement from the ball head. And it's got a tension dial here at the base, and what I love about it is you can use your foot to tighten it or loosen it, which makes it super easy. I'm not bending down and having to loosen the tension or tighten the tension on this when I'm doing it. Makes it super, super handy. Very, very well designed. Very, very cool. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and look at what I consider one of my favorite aspects of this monopod, and that is this. This is awesome. They have a quick release head built into it. And what happens is, this is the Komodo head. I'll talk about this in a minute that comes with it. But check this out. If you want to take the head off this thing, you pull it down, pop. It pops off that fast. You want to put it back on? Boom. It pops off that easy. And what's great about that is that quick release comes down here and actually applies to this incredible foot that I was talking about. Now check this out. If I pop this down, boom, I instantly separate my monopod from my base. And this is what's awesome. I can now take my head here and instantly pop it on, and boom, I have an instant hi-hat. And this is amazing. What this is essentially a hi-hat function in your monopod. And I'll be honest, this is probably my single favorite function of this entire design, because what this means is when you buy this monopod, you are actually getting two systems in one. You are getting an awesome monopod, and more importantly, you're getting a second hi-hat function. And this is great. It's something that I use all the time, having it, that ability to go from super high to super low and have a very, very nice functioning ball head hi-hat right on the ground to get good, steady shots on the ground. I love getting low. I love getting the ground as my foreground. And this thing really, really lets me use it and utilize that to such an awesome degree. Another thing I love about this monopod, honestly, is it has buckle locks on it and not twisters. I hate twist locks. I'm always in the field when it's cold, wearing gloves. I do them wrong. I love locks. It's one of those things you can go so fast. These are single-handed operation, very, very tight, very cool. The other thing that I really love about it, if you look, it actually has a small tool connected to the monopod that connects to it, that if you need to tighten it for something in the field, you've got an instant tool, and it kind of lives on there. It's very unobtrusive, but it is nice to have. Now I'm gonna put this thing back together and show you what I consider the next thing that is a critical element of any monopod that you need, and that is going to be your height. If you're using a monopod, you need something that can go high. And what's great about this thing, I'll extend it up here, it's gonna extend out of frame, I guarantee it. This thing extends to over 6 feet in height. I mean, that thing's up there. And why you need this in a monopod is two reasons. The first thing is, a lot of times you'll find yourself on a monopod, especially if you're doing concert photography and stuff like that. You want a monopod that'll stretch over people's heads that allow you to get those shots, because most concert venues will not let you take tripods in there, and you need something up there to get height. So height is very, very important. The other thing about this height that is really awesome is that in addition to having this quick release head, if you look at the bottom of this, this is an amazingly nice touch, and it's one of those things that iFootage did that just shows you how well thought out that is. There is actually a 3/8 screw here on the bottom of the monopod. So if I take off the base plate, I can turn this into a boom pole and keep the weighted part of the monopod to the back. So I can actually extend this all the way out and have a boom pole if I want. You know, this is something that is just a great little feature. Once again, it recognizes is what you want a monopod for. Monopods are about flexibility, and I find myself not only using microphones, but sometimes I have small lights and a China ball or something like that, and having something like this that I could pop off the head and essentially turn this into a boom arm to extend a light over or have an AC hold a light over is an awesome little tool, which is one reason why I always now am keeping this in my car with me. Now, one other thing that I did get with this package is this Komodo KS head. Now, the good thing about the Komodo KS head, if I put this on there, you see it's all part of that quick release package. It pops right on there. And this is a decent head. I mean, the monopod is amazing. It is by far the most incredible monopod I've ever come across. The head is decent. It's okay. I mean, I think this is really made more for smaller mirrorless systems, which is what you'll tend to use these things for. But that being said, I have put a fully kitted out C300 out in the field on this and was able to use it okay. It has a decent amount of tension, and I really love that it uses a Manfrotto plate up here, which seamlessly works with my system because I have Manfrotto plates for my entire system. So I do like that. So the head is one of those things, it's nice to have. The fact that it quick releases from there makes it awesome. And I find myself using this really so much as a hi-hat that I love having this ability to get it quickly on there. So really, that's my conclusion on this. I mean, I know it's a monopod, but man, this is so much more awesome than any monopod I've ever used. And it's just one of those things, if you have to buy one monopod, buy one. Don't go out there and buy 3 or 4 and be disappointed. And that's why I really cannot recommend this enough. I've been very impressed, especially after having practically used this in the field. It really was a great tool that helped me shoot a lot more. And I think if you get something like this, it'll probably be a good tool that helps you shoot. Anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Leave me any comments if you have anything down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.